everybody, welcome to the Ladybug Laboratory podcast. I'm your host, Lily, and this is a podcast all about knitting, crocheting, sewing, various crafty exploits that I find myself up to. And so welcome. This is episode 35. I'm recording on Friday, May 17th. And welcome. Today what I have for you is I have some updates on projects. I am recording outside. This is the first time I've recorded outside at my house, so hopefully it goes well, although I hear something in the background. I hope that doesn't transfer over to the audio for you. Sounds maybe like somebody's mowing their lawn, but it's far enough away that I'm not really sure. So yeah. Segments that I have for you today. I have announcements, which includes our yarn giveaway, our make-along, other things like that. I also have some updates on my projects, and I have a bit of a topic today. It's a little bit more asking for help from you guys, and also kind of what I've been thinking about recently in regards to crafting. Yeah. So without further ado, let's get started. So first up, for announcements, two things. One, I wanted to do the yarn giveaway, and secondly, we will be talking about our make-along. So let's do the giveaway first. Those of you that watched my previous episode know that I'm giving away a skein of worsted weight yarn. It is maximum yarnage per worsted weight in the Technicolor Tatas colorway, and if you want to hear the whole story behind that, go back to the previous episode. But in order to win the skein of yarn, what I said is I posted a thread in the forums, and I said just comment on that and post something good that you've done for the world. And I have to say, I really enjoyed reading all of the responses. It was really cool just to see all the different things that people have done, and it really it was a nice pick-me-up to my day. So thank you to everyone who posted. There are 12 posts in the thread. The first one is mine. So I have it pulled up right here on my Surface, and I'm going to go to random.org and generate a random number between 2 and 12. Not 1, because it's mine. Okay, so number 6. So let's go to 6. Okay. So this is DF3, DEEEFF3, and she joined a volunteer dog rescue about a month ago, which is super cool. She wrote a lot about it. I'm not going to read all of it. You can go to the thread and check it out, but that's really awesome, DF, I guess. So that is, let's see, where's she from? She's from Ontario, Canada, and her name is Della. So Della, congratulations. I'll be putting your name in the down bar just in case you missed it. But yeah, you have won the yarn. I'll give you about a week to see this and be surprised. And then I'll contact you on Ravelry, so just to make sure you get it. But yeah, all right, so that is the yarn giveaway. The other thing is the knit-along that we are doing. Well, make-along. You can crochet, knit, weave, whatever. And I have decided to open this up to non-Ravelry supported crafts as well. So sewing totally counts. Cross-stitch totally counts. Basically anything that you could feasibly see on here, I'd count it. And if you have any questions about that, go ahead and post in the chatter thread. I mean, there are prizes for the chatter thread anyway, so go ahead and post in the chatter thread, ask if it counts. Yeah, so there is a chatter thread for that and a finished objects thread in the Ravelry group, which is the Ladybug Laboratory podcast group. I forgot to mention that that's where you can find me. You can also find me on Instagram as ladybug.lily. The hashtag for the make-along is the Tiny Makes CAL for create along. yeah, and that's going until September 30th, and it's basically anything tiny or anything for a tiny human or an animal or something like that. So yeah, I hope you guys are chattering away. There have been several people who have enthusiastically responded. We already have some finished objects, some chat in the chatter thread, so yeah. And that brings me to my projects. So I'm going to start a new segment just for loading times, and I'll be right back. So for projects, I'm going to split this into projects that don't count for our make-along and projects that do count for our make-along. So first of all, projects that don't count for our make-along. I have my scrap blanket. I've done some work on this since you saw it last. I know I mentioned that you probably wouldn't see this again for a while because it had gotten really warm, but we're actually having a cool spell right now. Right now, it's actually dry, but we're getting these huge, what they call atmospheric rivers, coming in through from the ocean to the Bay Area, and many places in California are getting them. We got one on Wednesday. It's Friday now. We got one on Wednesday. We're getting one, I think, on Monday, which is pretty rare for us. I mean, it's not that rare, but we get torrents and torrents of rain in this area in December and January and February. And then it basically doesn't rain for the rest of the year. So to the point where like people don't check the weather forecast. You plan things, it just doesn't rain. But it's raining. So yeah, that's the thing that's happening. I am deeply appreciating it because, as some of you may know, I really, 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 really hate warm weather. I just have a really bad reaction to it. So yeah, it's been really nice to get some cool back in the air again. So anyway, all that said, I have taken full advantage of the fact that it's been cool again, and I've been working on my scrap blanket. So I haven't done that much because you only saw it a few weeks ago, but I'll go ahead and show you. I did this one, which was an opal mini. This one, which was another opal mini. This one, which was from a swap. It's Nitpicks Hawthorne in the Alameda colorway. This one, which was also from a swap. And this one, which was also from a swap. Those two were unlabeled. I also spent some time, I haven't quite finished, but I wove in a bunch of ends. So there's a couple of ends still to weave in, and then these ones are from this square. This is the back of it, but it's because I was trying to get to the last color. And unfortunately, it's going to be another row. Well, I can weave the annoying ones in, but I'm still working on. I don't like to weave in the ends until I've already worked the squares that pull off of them, so that I don't make it too tight or too loose, and I can like sort of use the ends to stitch the gaps together. So I'm still working on the squares that come off of this. So I'm not going to weave all of the ends in yet, but I can definitely weave in those ones on the side, but I just haven't yet. But yeah, this is getting really big. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm enthralled by this blanket. I'm so excited about it. This is how long it is right now. It's basically my wingspan at the moment. And then there's another chunk that I'm gonna add on here. So like on this side, it's flat. And then there's another chunk that goes like that and is flat over here. And I'm gonna go up between them as soon as I finish this. Basically this row, actually, I'm gonna join them after that and start building up. So yeah, I really I'm really, really, really loving this blanket. I really am. And now that I've figured out how to sort of go across in a row, there's no reason for me to build in these weird triangle patterns anymore. I was doing that because I was just like, oh, I have colors that go with this, so I'll do it. But now that I sort of have to go across in a row, I mean, I don't have to, but it's easiest. I'm really enjoying working on it, and it's almost like usable as a blanket, even while I'm waiting, which is excellent, if I do say so myself. So yeah, I am using size 2 needles, which is a 2.75. These are my Chiagu interchangeables. And as you can see, I just sort of picked up the black all the way across. And I've already done, all the ones you just saw were picked up with that same black, so. Birds, don't poop on me, please. Oh God. Okay, I really thought it was about to for a minute. Anyway, so that is living in my nice big African market bag. And I also have a Manakori bag in here, which contains my little booklet with all my plans. And it contains a printout of my directions because I know I wrote this pattern. And the squares I have down pat. But the ones on the sides that are like half triangles and the ones at the top and the bottom that are half triangles, I never exactly remember how to start them. So I have that here. And all the minis I've planned to do but haven't done yet, like this one. This is from the Color and Life podcast mini set. So yeah, that is that. Let's see, what else? A lot of my projects don't really have project bags right now because, as I mentioned, I kind of lost my knitting mojo for months. And I have a craft space, and right now it is a mess, and all my project bags are in use. And it's been tricky getting my mojo back, and I've been doing that mostly just by working on new projects. So yeah, I need to go through it and clean it out, but I'm not at that point in my life yet. I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot more about life stuff in the knitting section, so I will finish this, then I will go to my topic in my life stuff. So things that do not count for make-along. Only other thing is living in a plastic bag. And that's because this bag usually holds all of my neon scraps. So this is what it normally looks like. And longtime viewers will know that my husband really likes neon socks. And I've always talked about doing something with all the neon scraps, which is why I keep them together. So anything that's in here, I've made him socks out of, except for this, which I made my brother socks out of. And this was from a mini set. But like, those are two different oranges. Yeah. So I found this pattern, and it's been in my queue for a while. It's called Follow Your Dreams. It's a free pattern. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but yeah, there we go. It's these little fingerless mitts, with these sort of arrows on it. So, it's a free pattern, which means you get what you get, right? But this is what I've got so far. So I decided to make mitts for my husband and use black as the background and then all the different neons. And I played around with a bunch of color combinations and I asked him what he would like. He hasn't seen the pattern, but he knows I'm making something. And I said, you know, I could do like orange, green, purple, different green, different orange, right? Or whatever. And he said, it doesn't matter to him. Orange is his favorite color, so he would like that to be more prominent. But that he would err on the side of having more colors as opposed to similar colors. I said, cool, great, thanks. That was incredibly helpful. Like, actually it was. So, here's what I have so far. Here's the thing, this was supposed to be a scrap project, and 3 of the 5 are scraps, so I'll go with it. So the first one is this purple, which is a Cascade Heritage. I'll put the colorway in the bottom. And I used it to make my brother's diamond socks, so that's the first one. The second one is this one, which is a Knit Picks Stroll Bright. I believe the color is electric blue, but I'll put it in the down bar, regardless of if I'm right or wrong. Those are both scraps. Then I'm using Knit Picks Stroll Brights in their Sour Apple colorway. And this is obviously not a scrap. Since he loves neon socks, he loves socks in general, when Knit Picks was discontinuing their Brights line, I bought 2 skeins in each color that I hadn't made him socks out of yet, so that I would have neon colors. So this is not a scrap. Eventually I will make him socks out of it and it will be scrap, but I figured because I found this like rainbow of my scraps, I wanted to do that. So, and then this one also is not a scrap. Also Knit Picks Stroll Brights, also from that same purchase. I'll put the colorway down on the bottom. It's probably like highlighter or something. I don't know, but it's this bright yellow. You can see it here. So those are the 4 that I have in there already. And then I'm going to be doing this one, which is also Knit Picks Stroll Brights in the Snapdragon colorway. Which was the very first, it was his favorite of the Stroll Brights. The very first pair of those socks that I ever made him. He picked this color, so. Yeah. Thoughts on it. So the pattern itself, it's a free pattern, so I don't mind talking about it. It does not have a thumb gusset. It just has you like put waste yarn in and then cast on stitches above it, and you just put your thumb through that. I didn't really want to go with that because I just think a thumb gusset fits better in general. So I tried to sort of ad-lib it and create this thumb gusset with mixed results. So I think it might be a little bit short, and I haven't 100% decided. This has kind of been on timeout right now. I haven't 100% decided, but I think what I'm going to do is rip back to... So I stopped the thumb gusset at the top of the green. It doesn't look like that because it's like slanted off, but I did. And I had 19 stitches in the thumb gusset. So anybody who happens to know numbers for fingerless mitts off the top of their heads, let me know. But I stopped it right after the green. So I think what I'm going to do is frog back to that point. And so there's 2 plain rows of black between each pattern. And I think I'm going to continue the thumb gusset for those 2 more rows. And that should get me 21 thumb gusset stitches, which I think will make it actually look like it comes off right at the top of that green one. So yeah, that's currently what I think I'm going to do. But yeah, I am knitting these also on US 2s, which is a 2.75 millimeter. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say about that. It's going well. I'm making the medium size and not the large size, because I wanted it to really fit. So these are going to be probably a Christmas gift for him. So I've got a while, but yeah. That's what I wanted to work on right now in my mojo-less state, and so that's what I'm working on. Okay. Everything else that I have to show you today is related to baby knitting. So I'm gonna pause and start a new segment, and we can do that. So, things that have to do with our make-along for our Tiny Makes Cal. Those of you that watched my previous episode will know that I was making a set of socks. Last time I saw you, I had already finished the baby socks, so I still have finished them. They're still sitting on the sock blockers. I have not done anything else with that. And when you saw last, I had finished one of the Papa socks. This is socks for my husband. And I was about halfway through the second one. So I finished the second one. I wasn't thinking of these when I said there were no finished objects. I don't know why. But yeah, so I guess that is a finished object. I finished a pair of socks. That's where I was last time. And then, when you saw this last, I had also finished one of the socks for me. This is just a counting stitch marker. I had finished one of the socks for me. And since then I have started the sock, and that's how far I am. So I'm actually almost done. Probably next time I see you I will be done with these. These have been my sort of on-the-go socks. It's just the blueberry waffle pattern, very simple. These ones are not the blueberry waffle pattern, they are newborn socks pattern. It's linked in the page. But the other two are blueberry waffle. Mine are a 60 stitch, and my husband's are a 64 stitch. Yeah. I don't have anything exciting or special to say about them. They're knit on my Chiagu Twist Mini interchangeables, and they're US 1.5 or a 2.5 millimeter. We have been taking a lot of classes through our, I don't know, like HMO basically. So like newborn care class and a childbirth class and all sorts of stuff like that. And anyway, so these are great for working on during a class because they're just interesting enough that I don't hate them, but they're really basic. It's the blueberry waffle pattern. I can do it in my sleep. I have done it in my sleep. Yeah, so right now, the ones that I am actively working on, so the mama socks, are living in my Pooh Bear Little Skein in the Big Wool bag. The yarn is Direberry Yarns in the Sun on New Spruce colorway, which is this beautiful emerald green. It's actually picking up quite well in the camera. Yeah. That is all for those. So the next project that I have to show you is one that I hadn't worked on since about a year ago, and that is my furless blanket. It's the Whirling Wildflowers pattern. It's sort of like a tuck stitch or brioche blanket. So here it is. I am using Knit Picks Dapple, which they had just started when I bought the yarn for this blanket in January of last year. And it's apparently discontinued, but that's what I'm using is Knit Picks Dapple. It's a single ply bulky yarn. So, you know, single ply is not the best for a baby blanket, but it is what it is. This project is living in my Nevertheless She Knitted tote bag, which has my Stitches West pins on it. I actually do have one from this year that I have to add to it, but I haven't yet. So, I added a couple repeats to the body of this blanket. And then I decided to go ahead and do, so each point is done individually. So it's worked all together up until here, and then you can see this is the rest of it. Right, so I'm working on a point right now. It's really soft and really warm, and it's a baby blanket. Yeah, do I have anything to add to that? Somewhere along here. Oh, there it is, it's on the back. That's where I was a year ago. So I was coming up this circle. It's about, I don't know, 7 or 8 rows from the end of the circle and the start of the points. That's the wrong side, by the way. But this blanket, so I mentioned in my last episode that about a year ago I had a miscarriage, and this was the blanket that I had planned to make for that pregnancy. So I have mixed feelings about working on it. I'm excited to have it done. I like finishing things, getting them off my needles. I want to start a sweater in this tote bag, so, but yeah, this is sort of my rainbow baby. So yeah. Oh, in case you didn't know, I am 33 weeks pregnant. So this is worked on my Chigu interchangeables in the large size. This is a size 11, which is 8 millimeters. They're pretty hefty. Yeah, and I'm actually really close to being done with it. I only have like, what, 4 more points to go, and then I'm done. So this is a circle blanket, so you just finish it up, and then you sew up the sides. I'm really excited about it. This will probably be done soon, because I'm taking full advantage of the cool weather to work on this. I mean, this is a bulky weight blanket sitting on my lap right now, so I'm taking full advantage of the cool weather to work on it. And yeah. Alright, so that's all for that one. Alright. So, next up, why don't I show you my crocodile stitch coat. So this is the crocodile stitch mandarin coat, which is by Bonita Patterns. I am making it with Knit Picks Chroma in the Carnival colorway. So yeah, last time you saw it, oh, and it's living in my smaller African market basket bag. Last time you saw it, I was about here. I had not gotten very far. This is my cleverly disguised as a responsible adult, which I felt like was a fitting stitch marker for this. Thank you, Carolyn, of the Carolyn McPherson. Anyway, so this is where I was. I finished this. This is gonna be, it says it's the right side of the coat, but I feel like it's the left side. This looks like an armpit to me, but I'm not 100% sure. So this is where I am. I'm working on the second side here. The problem is this one is slightly bigger. It's like 2 crocodile stitches bigger than this one. So it was using up the colors more quickly. So I'm trying here to make them match. So far I think I've done an okay job. But what that's resulted in is basically I'll go with like a ball of yarn, like a normal ball of yarn, until I start to get to the next color too quickly. And then I'll cut the yarn, I'll go to a different ball of yarn, and I'll wind until I'm a little bit behind where I should be, but still kind of lining up with what I just made, and use that. So that's why, for instance, these 2 rows look almost identical, but I'm hoping that the problem was I was getting to the orange really quickly. It was about to be orange, and I needed to do a second row of red before I got to the orange. It's like these, it's supposed to be like these 2 rows here. So hopefully that'll work out. It's been kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie. So it's kind of been a little bit on timeout as I've been working on it, but it is what it is. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about that. I as soon as I get this other side of the front done, I'll be good, because the back is definitely not going to line up. It's not patterned, so it's just double crochet. And the sleeves, I can get them to line up with each other, but they'll be identical. So yeah, the rest of it I don't really have to worry about it lining up, but it was just bothering me for the front ones. So that is that. Next project is a hat, baby hat, that I'm making out of this yarn. Long-term viewers may have seen this before. I did make a baby sweater for a coworker out of this. And this is Dashing Docks in the four-leaf clover colorway. So the pattern I'm doing, I don't have the pattern with me. I think it's From Where You Were Plucked or something. I'll put it in down there. But so I used 2.5 millimeter, which is a US 1.5 for the ribbing. And then I'm using a US 2, which is a 2.75 millimeter for the body of the hat. But, so, as you can tell, this has like flashes of rainbow in it. And this was actually looking pretty cool across the ribbing. It was like this streaky rainbow, sort of slowly variegating. But now, they're just kind of all sitting on top of each other. So I might end up with just like a streak of rainbow up the side. But then when I get to the decreases, that's going to go away. So I would like your thoughts on this. Should I go back down to the smaller, should I frog everything past the ribbing and go back down to the smaller needles so that it keeps spiraling? Although the spiral would stop when I got to the decreases too. Ooh, I don't know. And originally, I had anticipated it was going to be like the sweater, where it was kind of like speckles of it throughout. I don't dislike this. It's just not what I anticipated. So when you look at the pattern, which I will put a picture in here, when you look at the pattern, it has little like white color work in it, and I thought that would look really cool with this speckled rainbow. But now I'm wondering if I should do it or not, because the color work is optional. Can just make a plain stockinette hat. Maybe that's what I should do, because I'm about to be done with my current on-the-go project. I don't know. So I would love feedback on that. Please let me know what you think. I will also be posting this on Instagram, seeing what people think there. But yeah, right now this is just living in that basket with the crocodile stitch coat. It doesn't have its own anything. That's all I have to say about that. I'm gonna pause here just so that I don't get too big of a video for uploading later. Alright, so next up, and these aren't really living anywhere. They're mostly just being worked straight out of my yarn bowl, which this is my new yarn bowl. My mother-in-law made it for me. She is on Etsy at In His Hands Art, but it has my 3 cats on it. Isn't that cute? Got it for Christmas this year. So these are mostly being worked directly out of my yarn bowl. And what I'm making are baby washcloths. So I have these 2 sets, and you may be looking at these and going, they're pink. I thought you didn't know the gender of your baby. Flavor unknown. So they are pink. First of all, I don't really think it's an issue for a boy to use pink washcloths. It's a baby. But secondly, I had got 2 sets of the birdies knits, maybe? It'll go in the down bar. Gradient 100% cotton. So this gradient is like these nice pinks. This is the next one I'm going to make. Deep pink all the way into like tan. There's like some mauvey purple in there. It's really pretty. The other gradient is like a blue into like a tan. So they kind of go together. So you can do like pink, tan, blue. which I thought was really cool. There's 8 colors in each one. So I'm going to end up with 16 washcloths. I'm just doing a really simple linen stitch. So I'm doing, I did foundation single crochets for the bottom. So instead of doing a chain and then working into the chain, you do kind of like chain and single crochet at the same time. It's a really cool technique. If you crochet at all, I recommend looking into and learning about. Oh my god, so many bugs. Sorry. Foundation single crochet. It's just 32 stitches, and it's this nice sort of basic linen stitch pattern. It's really, really soft. I'm not counting any of them as done, even though I have 3 sitting here. Partially because I might just make them all the same project page, and partially because I'm going to go back up to the shop. I got these at Black Squirrel Berkeley. I'm going to go back up to the shop and see if they have an undyed version and do a crab stitch around the outside to make it sort of seamed nicely. If they don't have an undyed version, I might get an undyed of a different cotton. But this is a really nice, really soft, 100% cotton, and it's ethically sourced, and yeah. I might just stick with these like they are, even though they look kind of unfinished. I mean, I'll weave the ends in, but yeah, so that's one thing I've been making. Oh, I don't know what hook size I've been using. I'll put it in the down bar. And then the last baby-related thing that I've been working on is the Gramps cardigan, which, there we go, Gramps cardigan. Looks like this. It's cabled. It's a little baby cardigan. I'm doing the 6-month size. So I believe, not 100% on this, but I believe the last time you saw this, I had worked the cables on size 7s and the body on size 8, and I was about to frog it. So I frogged it. You may have seen it after that, but I frogged it either way. And this is what I've got. So I went down a needle size. Yeah, so the ribbing is on size 6s and the body is on size 7s, which is working much better. The cables look a lot happier. I'm using Magpie Fibers DK. I do have the start of a sleeve. I'm going to get rid of this because I need to use DPNs for it. It's just not working for me. So I need to go to the store and get some DPNs. But I haven't used DPNs in a long time. But man, I don't even use them on my own sleeves. I don't use them on the tops of hats. But baby sleeves, you need some DPNs. So, this is living in my Knitting Nelly bag with the deer on it. This one is a sleeping deer, or a sitting down deer. So what I've done is I've made it all the way up to the top of the body, or here on the body. And now I need to make the sleeves, and then of course I'll join them together because it's Raglan's shaping. I don't want to give too much away about that. There's a lot of other shaping in there too. It's a paid for pattern, so. But yeah, I'm really excited for that. I think it's going to be so cute. Yeah. So those are all of the projects that I have with me today. Next up, I'm going to go into my topic, which is going to involve a lot of personal life info. So just be prepared for that. It's going to be about sustainability, and oh, there is a beautiful blue jay that just flew down. Oh my goodness, that's gorgeous. Sorry. It's about sustainability and crafting. But it's going to involve a lot of life info, as well as some of my future plans for crafting, which involves a lot of sewing. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and run into that segment before I run out of light. So, I am 33 weeks pregnant. One of the things that comes with being 33 weeks pregnant is having to worry about all the baby stuff. Diapers and swings and cribs and blankets and clothes and all of that. And it got me thinking there's so many things that are quote unquote essential for babies that are like you're gonna use them for like a month and then you're never gonna need them again. Sorry, that bird. Really beautiful. Please don't poop on me. It might poop on me. And I don't know, I'm not super, I don't know. I'm not like everything I use has to be sustainable, but I would like more and more of what I use to be sustainable. And sometimes I just sort of use the convenient option because it's the convenient option and that's where I am in my life at the moment. But as I go into this, I mean, I'm not going to be working next year. We're going to be moving in probably the winter of next year. And so I'm a teacher, I work in the school system, so I'm going to take that year off. And so I have the time to do things that are sustainable instead of just using the convenient disposable option. And like diapers, for instance. Okay, so diapers are essential, absolutely essential to a baby, but they're so bad for the environment. I mean, can you imagine if you threw out your underwear every time you used them? And I don't know, it's just gotten me thinking, and I'm not going to go down this whole rabbit hole because a lot of it isn't related to crafting, and I know that's what you're here for, but it's also gotten me thinking about how much like fabric and yarn I have just sitting in my craft area that isn't being used. And you know, way back when you use every scrap of fabric that you had. So anyway, all of that got me thinking, and one of the things that I've decided I can do a little thing is I can make baby wipes, homemade baby wipes, which is basically just fabric and water, and then I can wash them, and that way I'm not throwing them out. It's just a little thing. But then I discovered there are tons and tons and tons of patterns for baby wipes on Pinterest, because of course there are. And most of them are made out of flannel. If you buy fabric baby wipes, they're made out of flannel. It's basically just a square of flannel that somebody serged around the outside. So I have a bunch of leftover scrap flannel in this lovely ladybug pattern that I made myself some flannel PJ pants out of that do not fit me anymore and probably will never fit me again. So I might, oh no, sorry. So I might actually cannibalize those pants as well. I'm just realizing this now. But I have a bunch of flannel scraps, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make them squares of flannel that I can use as baby wipes. And so of course, finding that on Pinterest sent me down this whole rabbit hole, and I found these like cool wipes containers you can make out of laminated cotton. So of course I ordered laminated cotton, and then I was like, wait, I'm ordering more fabric to use up my scrap fabric. Yeah, and the other day I went to the store and they had flannel that was 50% off. It's like, awesome, I need flannel because I'm not going to get enough baby wipes out of this. So why don't I get some? And I did. I got 2 yards, I think, which is not a ton. But then I was coming home and I realized just because I'm making it myself doesn't make it sustainable, right? Like, I also need to know that the fabric that I got was ethically produced. I need to know that it's works for the environment and it works for humanity. And I don't know that. And it probably wasn't ethically produced. It's adorable, it has hedgehogs on it. But it probably wasn't ethically produced. And what do I do with that? How can I, as a crafter, both value sustainability, but also value where I get my materials from, and get rid of this horrible sense of guilt, right? Because we live in the 21st century. I don't need to make everything by hand. And yet I feel this guilt if I don't. And I feel like a lot of people feel that guilt if they don't. And so I'm sort of opening this up to you guys. How do you ethically produce? How do you consider sustainability and fair trade and the environmental and social impact of what you're doing in your crafting? And how do you do that and escape the guilt? I don't know that I really have a big answer for that, but I would really, really, really love your feedback on that. So I'm sort of, I'm asking for feedback, for advice. I'm going to put this in the Ravelry thread, comment below. Please let me know what you do. And if you know of any super awesome, great fabric or yarn sources that are ethically, sustainably sourced, please let me know. That would be great. But also, I guess I don't really need to buy more fabric or yarn. Yeah, I mean, except in situations where I need a specific kind, right? Like if I need cotton and I don't have cotton. Which, ironically enough, I have very little cotton yarn and lots of cotton fabric. I feel like that's pretty typical though, because quilting cotton is so ubiquitous. But anyway, yeah, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that. I'm gonna say this right now. Please do not tell me I'm disgusting for making reusable baby wipes, okay? I'm trying really hard not to make this a mommy podcast, and I know that's a lot of what's going on in my life right now. I mean, as you can see by the things that I'm knitting and the topic of sustainability having to do with baby wipes, right? But I really want it to stay a craft podcast and not a mommy podcast. And so if you have comments that are related to that, please make sure they're also related to crafting. If you have great suggestions for how you've done a pattern for cloth wipes or something like that, please feel free to let me know about those. But I would rather not turn this into a mommy podcast. That said, I do want to hear from you guys. So if you do have great suggestions, please share them. But I'd like to stay out of the parental aspects of it and stay more in the crafting aspects, if that makes any sense. But yeah, so that is all that I have today. Thank you for joining me in my trial period of this being outside. There are so many bugs right here. Oh my god. Yeah, thank you for joining me, and it's getting dark, which is probably why the bugs are coming out, so I'm going to head inside. But I hope you had a wonderful time, and I hope you have a happy time crafting. Enjoy yourself, whatever it is you do, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.